So years before Catan, in 1974, another new category of games was created, tabletop role-playing games. So these games are where players collaborate to create their own adventures and in a world that's sort of populated by monsters and danger and adventure. So to play the game, you don't necessarily need a game board like Monopoly or Catan, but you do start with a group of people. Generally, one person becomes the game master or dungeon master, sort of the person who's running the world that you're going to play in, and the rest of the group create characters that they want to play. Have you always wanted to be sort of a swashbuckling pirate, or maybe you wanted to learn kung fu like you're in the Matrix? Well, when you're playing a game like D&D or one of these other tabletop games, you make up a character based on the set of rules of the world that have been agreed upon, and then you sort of face the challenges that your game master creates. And so this is an example here of a character sheet and how you would sort of write down all of the sort of factors that create your character for the game that you're going to play. The challenges that you face in a game might be something that you can solve with a sword or magic, but you can also use cleverness and creativity to solve problems. Just because you see a dragon in a game doesn't necessarily mean that you need to fight it. Maybe you just need to talk to it. It's lonely and you tell it a story. Maybe you need to trick it into a trap of some sort. Anybody who has played D&D or another tabletop game knows that there are times when your game master may have planned for you to go one way and fight the evil wizard and save the princess, and maybe your group decides that what you're really going to do is stay in the small town that you found and become robber barons and overthrow the government. It's one of those factors where you can plan for the world, but really the creativity of the people playing is going to define the story. So it's really kind of a creative storytelling aspect to the game. And oftentimes, these games are compared to video games because that's sort of the way that a lot of us know sort of role playing games. In video games, you usually have, not in all cases, but usually have less sort of creativity about where you're going to go because the video game designer has sort of had to lay down a path for what's going to happen in the game. Whereas with the tabletop game, because it's live and the people are all in the room, you can sort of negotiate it as it's happening. So that's kind of one of the appeals of these kind of games is that so there's not sort of one solution or one strategy that's going to win for you. You can kind of make your own decisions and make it whatever works for you. Role-playing games are now really associated, as I said, with video games. And those video games sort of ironically actually started as digital versions of those tabletop games that were starting in the 70s. And so over the years, sort of D&D had sort of faded from popularity as those video games increased in popularity. But in the 40th anniversary, a new edition of D&D rules was put out, and it was a lot more simpler to sort of for newcomers to feel welcome into it. And as well, there was sort of a rise of podcasts and YouTube videos of people playing the game, so people could sort of get a chance to see what it was like to play. Because it can be really hard to know how do you play this game when you maybe don't know what it looks like when there's not that board and those set of instructions in the same way. And so the popularity has really grown over the last couple of years of these kinds of games.